The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for NCEA's webinar, Press Play, 15 Tips for Easily Creating School Marketing Videos, offered in partnership with RenWeb. I'm Andrea Kopp, Manager of Educational Resources for NCEA, and I'm happy to host this webinar for you. Before we begin, please know that all your microphone connections have been muted. If you have questions during today's presentation, please send those through the question box that appears in your GoToWebinar panel. To ask a question, use your mouse to click into the blank box area, type your question using your keyboard, and then click Send. The webinar presentation will last about an hour. You can post your questions at any time throughout the presentation to be added to our queue for the presenter. Immediately following the webinar, you'll be prompted to complete a brief survey about your webinar experience today, and I thank you in advance for providing us with this valuable feedback. You'll receive an email tomorrow with instructions on accessing this recording, the presentation materials, and certificate of attendance. You can download those files now from the handout section of your GoToWebinar control panel. Let us begin as we do all things in prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Jacqueline Day, Director of Marketing Communications with RenWeb. Hi, Jacqueline. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here and to be able to give you this webinar today. Andrea, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything else, or we can jump right in here.
Yeah, you can jump right in.
All right, so it looks like we're ready to go. Once again, my name is Jacqueline. I'm Director of Marketing Communications for RenWeb, and I've done a couple of these in partnership with NCEA so far, and they're really fun. I love being able to talk to schools about marketing and marketing strategies and tools, and I think that video is a really, really important step in putting together a full-fledged marketing strategy for any school, and I know that it's also one of the things that stops people up the most because it is a little bit different than just creating or writing an email or maybe working on a great website. Video, for some reason, is very intimidating for people. It's hard to make that first step. It seems expensive and difficult, but it's so important. And I think that I've got some tips that will help you make that transition here today into seeing how easy and fun it can be. So the reason that you want to think about video for your school and why it is so important now is because it's getting more and more important for schools to be able to tell their story in compelling ways. I think that one of the biggest differentiators for private schools versus public schools or Catholic schools versus other private institutions would be the story that you can tell about your school and how you can make that come to life for prospective parents. So you have to think of video as a digital showcase for your school more than just another piece of multimedia. It's one thing to have really great photos of your school, but if a video can tell a story in less than a minute and encapsulate a lot of the things that makes your school really special, then that's going to do the work of 1,000 photos. So that's why video really makes a lot of sense. Also, there's a lot of really, really important statistics around video in terms of just general marketing. So if you have video on your website, on the home page of your website, it increases conversions by 80%. So a conversion is any step that you would like a visitor to your website to take. So in terms of a school, when you're talking about school marketing, a conversion would be you having a prospective parent coming to your website and then inquiring online or maybe even applying online. So taking that next step or performing a call to action when they visit your website. So adding video to a landing page or to the home page of your website can increase conversions by a pretty significant amount, and that's an average, so it could be even more than that. Also, putting video in an email increases the click rate by 200 to 300% on that particular email. So if you start adding video to emails to your donors, if you added a video in an email that you might send out to inquiries who've gone cold and didn't complete the application process, that might also have an effect on how successful it is at reaching those people again. One other thing that I always like to tell K-12 institutions, because I work primarily with K-12 institutions, but I also keep my eye on higher ed, And the reason for that is what the things that higher ed does in terms of marketing generally do trickle down to K-12 marketing as well. So whatever trends you see higher ed institutions, your local colleges and universities starting to use more and more frequently on their blogs or maybe on their social media profiles or even what social media platforms they use, generally that will start to trickle down to the private K-12 audience next. So higher ed uses video extremely prominently. If you went to a college or university and you still follow them on Instagram or maybe you even follow them on Snapchat, then you will know that they're using video all the time. An old statistic said that 86% of them uses video in their marketing, but that's an old statistic. So a lot of them are doing that now, which is the reason why K-12 really needs to start making this a formal part of their marketing rather than just a fun thing that you think about every now and then. Also, I want you to think about the way that you use your social profiles right now. How often when you're scrolling through your endless Facebook newsfeed, your personal Facebook newsfeed, do you stop to watch a video, or do you stop to read a really long post or look at an advertisement? If there is a compelling video, you are more likely to stop and watch it, which is why Facebook is pushing people to use videos for advertisements rather than photos, because they get more interaction and more people pay attention to them. So think about the habits and the way that you use the same social platforms that you would be advertising your school on, and that can also help inform you about why these things are more important and the kinds of things that you would stop and look at if you saw an advertisement as well. All right, so there's a lot of different kinds of videos that schools can make and focus on, and there's a whole bunch of different topics. There's everything under the sun. So it's good to kind of think of one area that you want to focus in on and start to develop videos in that area, or maybe a couple different areas and then focus in on there. So one thing you can do is focus on the people in your school and tell a story about the people that work and attend your school. So this would be anyone from administrators to parents and families to individual students, and also teachers. If you have a lot of great teachers within your school who've been there for many, many years, those are the kinds of videos that could really, really capture prospective families. Also, focusing on alumni is really key, because you can use those videos to attract new families and also to get alumni involved if you have development campaigns that you're working on. So focusing on people, the people within your school, is a really, really great topic. Also focusing on places. So this would be anything that happens on your campus. Athletics, if you have awards, if you have seasonal events like a fall festival, spiritual events that you have, any school-specific events that you have that are specific to your school. If you have a special tradition that only your school does, that maybe somebody made up 20 years ago or 10 years ago, but everybody still takes part in, any kind of traditional thing like that is a great thing to focus on. So that's another area where you can just sort of keep a running roll of all the places and events that take place within your school. Then you could focus on things, and for things I prefer to think of that more student-driven. So that would be kind of like clubs that you have, extracurricular activities, small groups of student activities that would be really interesting to a specific type of parent. And those kinds of things are also really good to get students involved in. I always say that it's important to get students as involved as possible. So if you have any kind of student video class, or if you have them working your AV equipment, things like that, those students could definitely get involved in filming other students' clubs. And campaign-driven topics are, of course, one that I would encourage you to push for always. That would be more along the lines of a specific marketing or enrollment goal and or a specific development/fundraising goal. So then you would be creating videos specifically designed to fit in with a certain enrollment or development campaign rather than just a kind of one-off in a certain topic. I already mentioned student-led topics or student-led videos, but I just want to emphasize again that you have a lot of resources at your school by way of students who can help you develop and produce these videos, so engage your students whenever possible. The last topic is kind of where I want you to start thinking going forward, and that's clever videos. The more funny and unique and viral-oriented the video, the more popular it will be. In the long run, it may not necessarily help push a lot of new students towards your school or boost your enrollment or get a lot of people interested in your development campaign, but it is possible, and it's the rise of these really clever, short, funny videos in terms of school marketing that are changing the way you think about school marketing. So a long time ago, you used to think about this very formal, 3 minutes campus tour video that might have cost you a lot of money, but now we're definitely moving towards these short, fast, fun style videos, and we'll talk today about how to produce those. All right, so let's start with informal video. We talked about the formal campus tour video shortly there, but informal video is really where things are heading. So this is going to be more social media centric video. Maybe these videos would be featured on a blog post on your school website. They would definitely be on every social platform that you have. They could be live. They could be recorded. They could even be GIFs. They don't even necessarily need to be a full video, but an animate, like a GIF or a boomerang type video, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But any type of informal video that you do can cover a range of topics, be whatever style you want. They will typically be very short, less than 2 minutes long, and they will be easy for you to produce. You can do it with your phone in a hallway, filming your administrator or filming a student event, and you would not need to do a ton of editing or post-production work on that video. It would be quick and casual and easy. I don't know how many of you have seen the trend of campus-wide lip dub videos. Those are really, really popular. I've seen lots of those. Basically, the entire school body gets involved and they do one long take of students running through the school pretending to sing to popular songs, and it just shows off the entire campus in one video while the kids are also having fun. So they run through various classrooms and they show all the sports teams dressed up. So that's a good example of a video that looks informal. It took a little bit of time to put it together, but in the end it's accomplishing a couple of goals. It's showing off the entire school campus. It's showing how large and diverse and how much school spirit the student body has. And you can do that once a year and feature the seniors doing it every year, and it becomes sort of a tradition for the entire student body. So that's a great example of an informal video that kind of crosses the line into formal just because it will take some time to put together. Now, a truly great example of the most informal kind of video is the funny principal. I don't know how many of you are familiar with him, probably quite a few of you. But if you go to YouTube and type in funny principal, he'll come up, and he has one that's the coupon book for teachers and principals. And this principal basically walks around his school with his camera just pointed at him, talking and saying ridiculous and funny things about his school. And that's a great example of how one guy is just doing something funny and short, but it has a really, really big impact. So that's a good example of a formal video that you can do in a few minutes. And if you have a really funny teacher or maybe a really funny administrator, that's something that you could do, or something even similar to that. All right, if you want to do a formal video, the process for this has changed a little bit. So like I said, it used to be more campus tour-like, and you would have these very formal interviews, and it would be almost like a political advertisement. It would be very polished, 2 to 4 minutes or even longer. You'd probably pay thousands and thousands of dollars to do this. Now you can produce that same kind of video much more cheaply. You can do it yourself, and you could have students even do it for you. There's a lot of tools that will allow you to do that. So you can produce that same kind of video now without hiring an entire video team and paying a lot of money for it. You would just want to learn the types of tools that would allow you to do that. So let's go through a few of them here. All right, so here are some apps. If you don't have a pen and paper available, that's okay. The handout is available for download in the little control panel here for the webinar, so you can download these slides and view them later if you want. But I'm just going to go through a few of these and why they're really, really great. So Flipagram, and most of these, by the way, are available on iOS or Android devices. So the Flipagram app is great. It allows you to create easy, short little videos, and you can either pull in actual photographs or video that you've already taken, and it will set it to popular music. You've got to be careful about the type of music that you use. There are some concerns about copyright, so be wary of using music that you don't own. But you can use this app to create easy, short video, basically automates the process for you. The app DSCO Disco, that's a GIF making app, and if you don't know what a GIF is, I know that you've seen one. They're just funny little animated things that are very short. They don't have any sound, and that's also considered video multimedia. So you could create some of those sports GIFs are really, really popular. If you put a couple of those on your Facebook page, for example, parents and alumni would definitely share those. Adobe Premiere Clip is a little bit more intense, so if you want to create custom video, Adobe Premiere Clip has a lot more options for you, but it also has this other tool called, you can see it there, it's the purple app and it says Automatic. So it will generate a video for you. So you upload the video content that you want and it will automatically generate the video for you. So it doesn't get much easier than that. You can also use this app as a desktop application, so you can download it to your laptop. So Adobe Premiere Clip is available as a desktop application too, not just a mobile app. Hyperlapse is really cool. It's by Instagram and it's polished time-lapse videos. So you basically walk down a hallway and then it will speed it up really fast. So Hyperlapse is really good for doing quick, informal campus tour-like videos. So you could go through a couple classrooms, you could go down the main hallway of your school, you could walk around. If you have a really, really great outside campus area, you could walk around there. You can anything that you can think of could be a really good hyperlapse video. That kind of stuff is good for showing up your school quickly. It's fun, it's short, so people are more likely to view it, and I love those types of videos for schools. I think there's lots of creative stuff you can do with that. Boomerang is sort of like GIFs, but it's these mini looping videos, and they're short and fun, very recognizable, and those are also really good for things like sports, any kind of sports team that you have. That this type of video content lends itself really well to like sports action videos. So you could do that kind of stuff. You can do kids, if you have some sort of club where they're doing comedic things, that's another good application for this. Science experiments, all that kind of stuff fits really, really well with Boomerang. So that's video content that you could be adding to your school's Instagram account and Facebook account today or tomorrow even. It would take you a couple of minutes. And that's really, really good, rich video content that you could add immediately. Now here's some more informal video apps that can help make things easier for you. The other ones, I really like some of these. I have not used myself, but I have colleagues that really like them, such as V for Video, which is on the far left there. So this is cool because it combines your shooting and editing at the same time. You can actually edit as you're shooting. You don't have to do any post-editing. So if you want to kind of tinker with that and take a step into video editing, this is a super easy and very low-key way of getting started with that if you've never done it before. Magisto and Animoto are two very, very popular video editing apps. Magisto automatically splices your photos and video clips into movies, and Animoto does the exact same thing. It's a little bit more popular. I know a lot of teachers are probably familiar with Animoto. I know for a while lots of teachers were using it to create rich content for their lesson plans and things like that, so I know Animoto is more widely used in school communities already. Vine isn't so popular now, but it still exists. If you want to do 6-second video loops, then there you go. Snapchat is also a really, really important video tool for you to use. Even if you don't have a Snapchat account yourself or don't even intend to use it personally, you can create quick 10-second videos with Snapchat that are recognizable. You can add the funny filters to them. You can do really cool editing things like add the temperature outside, or you can make the video go faster or slower, and then you can download that video and upload it somewhere else. You don't have to just keep it on Snapchat. You can save it and then download it and re-upload it to your school's Instagram account or Facebook account. So Snapchat is a really quick, easy, fun video editor, and if you think of it like that, then it'll make a lot of sense for you as an easy way to create fun, informal video. You don't have to use the account or upload the video that you take to an account to use the platform. All right, if you want to take more formal video to create a more polished video for your school, more polished marketing video, then really the only tools that you need, only physical tools that you need are a good camera. The best camera that you could get right now for your school, and it would probably be a good investment, especially if you need to be taking sports video or anything like that, is a GoPro. It's the most efficient high-def camera on the market. Retails for about $300, and you can get a lot of cool accessories to go with it, like tripod or head mounts, body harnesses, so you could do some fun things with your soccer team, or you can have a kid. I know one school that had a kid run through the school with a head mount on, and so that was kind of like their little campus tour video, was the kid just running through the school with a head mount. But there's some creative things you can do with it. It's a pretty inexpensive, and it's a good investment if you want to do more formal video. All right, software for more formal editing. iMovie is a classic. If you have a Mac computer, iMovie comes with your Mac. It's easy to use. It's powerful. A lot of people like it. WeVideo is browser-based, so if you don't feel like downloading anything to your computer proper, then WeVideo is an excellent option. It's super easy editing. I've used it myself. It's drag and drop. There are apps available if you do prefer to download, but I like having something browser-based and accessible that way. They also have education pricing, so they have special pricing for educators or for schools, so definitely look into that. The same goes for Filmora. They have education pricing as well, and it's available for Windows or Mac, and this is a super, super simple editing program too. I would say iMovie, WeVideo, and Filmora are some of the easiest editing apps I've ever seen or used. You don't have to know anything about video to create a video in less than, I want to say, 30 minutes, a short video. You can really easily splice things and fade in and out and add music over the top. It's really, really intuitive and makes a lot of sense. If you've never done it before, don't worry, it'll walk you through it. Keynote is kind of the last one, and this comes with your Mac too. But if you don't want to do a video that has any actual live action content, if you just want to create a text and a photo video with narration, you can do that on Keynote, which is Mac's version of PowerPoint. You can create a pretty sleek and interesting short video with just text and photos using the Magic Move tool in Keynote. And so if you have a Mac, definitely check that out. That might be good for creating a short video like 10 reasons to come to our school or 5 reasons to come to our school, and you could just create a short fun video like that using text only. All right, so I mentioned before you have to be wary about using music, so that's where these free resources come in. The YouTube audio library is free music for your videos, so I would encourage you to use that to see some copyright-free music that you could use as background music for any videos that you take. Distill has free HD video for B-roll, so if you just need some filler video, if you're creating a more formal video, that's a good place to check for copyright-free B-roll footage. Pexels has free stock HD video and photos, so if you, once again, need some filler, that's a really good place to check. And if you want to just keep up on the latest with video marketing and get some easy tips and tricks, Real SEO, R-E-L SEO, is a fantastic resource. They have lots of really good articles about getting started with video and how video plays into marketing and do's and don'ts. So I love checking in there every now and then. All right, where to host them. So this is really important. You've created this cool video. What do you do with it next? Obviously, right off the bat, the first thing that you can do is upload a video right to social media. You don't necessarily need to have a specific place to host all your video anymore. It used to be that if you didn't have a video on YouTube, you were kind of out of luck. and there was not really a whole lot of other options to upload your video unless you put them directly on your own server. That's not the case anymore. Now you can create a video or put one on your phone and then upload it to Instagram later, upload it to Facebook later, upload it to Twitter, wherever you want. So the first place that you can upload any video you take is directly to your social accounts. But if you want to have video on your website and you want to be embedding video into maybe your school blog posts, then you're going to want to host your video elsewhere. YouTube is still the gold standard. It has it boosts your school's SEO. There's a lot of benefits for having your school video on YouTube because it works so closely with Google search and will help your school be found more easily. It's also great for mobile. Most people have YouTube functionality on their mobile phones and can view videos quickly and easily. If they're on your website on their mobile device and press play on an embedded YouTube video, it will display seamlessly on their mobile browser. The negatives are that YouTube may play ads on your video. You don't always get to control this, and some companies do block YouTube at work. So if your prospective family is looking for a school and they're doing a search on their work laptop at work and your school has a video embedded in your web page but the video is blocked, that might not be so great. The next option is Vimeo. So Vimeo is wonderful. We use Vimeo corporately at RenWeb and have no complaints. It's great. It has no ads. It's higher quality video display. The community is a little bit more picky than YouTube. It's a little bit more of a professional video community, so you don't get a ton of the crazy videos that you'll see on YouTube. There's also really good custom player options for embedding on your school website. The negatives of Vimeo are that it has lower SEO, so you're not going to get a ton of the search engine boost that you would get by having your school videos on YouTube. Vimeo can also get really expensive. It goes from a basic package to a more expensive package very quickly. There's also restrictions on the number of uploads, so as soon as you get past that certain point, it will ask you to pay or you won't be able to upload anymore. So pay attention to that pricing structure because it can get a little out of control. All right, Wistia is another product hosting service. So if you are going full on with your school marketing and really want to take things to the next level, I would encourage you to look at Wistia, W-I-S-T-I-A. It's a video hosting platform that's specifically designed for marketers. So you can do everything from capture leads to get these extremely detailed analytics. For example, it will tell you the point at which people stop watching your video. So you can tell if people stop watching at second 34 out of a 2-minute video, you know you need to cut your video down or figure out what happens at 32 seconds that are causing people to jump off the video. You can also embed calls to action right in the video, request people to join an email subscription list or submit their email address for more information. So this is a really, really interesting platform that schools could take advantage of, both in terms of development and boosting enrollment. You could be asking parents for their email address at the end of a holistic kind of school marketing video showing the campus and advertising your school, and then have something like, for more information, enter your email address below. And all this happens right in the video player, by the way. So Wistia is really, really interesting. We use it, like it a lot, and it's free for 5 videos. So you can try it out for free and see if it makes sense to you. Last is live video, and I haven't talked about this much yet, but I think that this is sort of the next phase of things and where things are going. Facebook and Periscope are the 2 big players right now. I would encourage you, though, to keep your live video on Facebook. And the reason for that is it's more popular. It'll help boost the popularity of your school Facebook page, and it allows you to do things now that are more in the moment and creative, and there's no downsides if you think through exactly how you do this. So you could do interviews. I think a popular format for Facebook live video for a school would be an interview with a teacher, like 5 things you may not know about X, Y, and Z, or tips with a sports coach, things like that. You could also do a day in the life type live video and have a student walk around for 10 minutes and show the different classes that they go to and the clubs that they belong to. You could also do live video for sports games, which would be really, really popular with family who maybe can't attend, or constituents or grandparents who can't attend the sports games. All of those things lend themselves really, really well to Facebook Live. It's designed for unique experiences, so think about the ways that your school is unique and ways that you could show that on live video. One other thing that schools do that I love, I've seen a couple schools do this, is they understand that parents are really, really busy now, and it's difficult for them to get away from work to do 5 school tours in a matter of a couple weeks while they're trying to pick up a new school for their child. So schools will do a live campus tour on Facebook Live, and then they'll do a Q&A at the end of it, and they just send an email or an invite out to inquiries and say, hey, if you're available at 10:30 on Tuesday, we're doing a live school tour. Then people join the live video and they can enter questions, and the school can respond at the end of the tour and do a little Q&A and answer questions right on the spot. I think that that's such a good way to cater to today's busy parents, and is an excellent way for you to kind of take things to the next step. That's a way of giving parents an experience rather than just giving them kind of the same thing that they've been used to. All right, so in closing, definitely think about the purpose of your video and what you want to do with it. I think that there's, a couple different ways that you can choose to go with your video, but ultimately what you want to do is a couple things. You want to help parents and students, prospective parents and students, picture their life on your campus. They want to be able to see a video, whether it's funny, short, long, professional, not professional, Snapchat, or Facebook Live, and they want to look at that video and say, I could see myself in that place. I could see myself on that campus, in that gym, on that sports field, in that classroom. So try and find ways to make your school look like a place that other people would want to be. That's really the ultimate goal of school marketing video. Also remember always that a video is worth 1,000 pictures. If you've been putting a lot of time and energy into taking really, really great photos for your social platforms, maybe back off a little bit and try to take 1 video per week instead of photos for that day, and see where that gets you. See what kind of fun, creative videos you can come up with, and don't forget to have kids get involved. I know that there are students at your school who would probably love to get involved with this. If you have a photography class or a video class, this might be the next step of a way that they could help you out. Also think in terms of campaigns when you can. If you have a marketing campaign coming up, if you want to hit a certain number of inquiries by a certain date, that's definitely the time to get a video involved and see if that can help you get over the edge. Create a video, create an ad on Facebook targeting people in your community using that video. See if that can't boost your inquiries a little bit. It's also great for fundraising. If you have a fundraising event coming up, or if you have a capital campaign that you're working on, a video is a great way to supplement the existing work that you're doing there. And also try to have fun and think outside the box. That's a picture of the funny principal, by the way, down there in the lower right-hand corner. That's his snow day video where he goes around and does things in the school that he can't do any other day except when the kids aren't there. So try to have fun and think of ways that you can show off the people in your school in a fun way, show kids having fun, doing activities, learning in the classroom. Anything that you can do that shows off your school in a casual way, that's actually a good thing. I think that there's definitely a shift now towards parents being attracted to schools showing themselves on a day-to-day basis rather than this one very polished formal video that comes out every fall or spring. These more informal videos give you a snapshot into that school's day-to-day, and that's much more appealing for the parent who can't decide, between the 3 schools that they looked at. They get an instant idea of what it would be like to actually have their child in that environment at your school. All right, and that's all I have for today, and I think Andrea has been keeping track of the Q&A over there. So Andrea, I'll go to you and see if there are any questions that came in as we talked here.
Yeah, we had a couple of questions regarding music, and you mentioned lip dubs, and somebody asked, are there copyright issues with using popular music?
It depends. So you'll have to look at the exact specifications for this, and it will vary from school to school. So you may want to consult If you have someone who handles legal issues at your school, you may want to just check, or sometimes there's different copyright addendums per song. For a lift-up type video, I think it would depend on where you host it. It depends on if it's for commercial gain or not, and there is very varying rules around whether it could be considered for commercial gain or not. So the best thing to do is just kind of take a look around and see what's available for copyright free and then go from there, or consult your marketing person, or if you have a person that does some legal research for you, they could double check. But the rules are kind of slippery, and a lot of schools, as long as they're not using it specifically for commercial gain, they can use popular songs and not usually have any repercussions, but it's just something to be aware of and something you may want to double check before you do it.
Okay, and we had several people ask, Jacqueline, if you would be able to produce a written list of some of the tools that you mentioned. I know we have the slides available, but I think there were some maybe that went quickly or they weren't quite clear on the names. Was that something that you could prepare that we could send as a follow-up?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. And for some of these resources that are new to people, are there templates? How easy are they to get started with?
They're really easy. So most of the apps that I mentioned, the mobile app type environment, you don't necessarily need a template to do a lot of those. And the ones that would need a template, quote unquote, would provide you some different options. As you WeVideo, things like that, as you move into more formal video editing where you're splicing footage, fading, putting music over the top, creating title slides, when you're doing that level of editing, there may be some sort of templates, but it would be more so you just kind of going through the drag and drop process there. It's not so much of a wizard, but you would just be creating the video you want. I think that if you're kind of starting right from scratch, and I know it's overwhelming right at the beginning, I'd say dip your toe into doing informal social media type videos at first and just kind of getting a feel for it and what you can record in 30 seconds and doing fun videos like that, and then slowly work your way up to doing more formal editing type videos. And by that point, you'll kind of know what you want to record, how you want it to look in the end, and then you won't need a template so much. I think that the other thing that you could do is look around at other schools in your area, or maybe if you are near a bigger city, see what larger K-12 schools near that city are doing for video, and you can kind of look at them and get inspiration for what kind of format they're using for their more formal video. Also looking at local colleges and universities at the video they've done is another good way to see just the general format, how long the video is, what kind of footage they use in it. That's a good way to get started. And then the thing about video that's really hard when you get into the editing type phase is knowing what you need to record. That's usually where people get stuck, is they kind of know what they want it to look like in the end, but they don't know what they need to record to get there. So the better and I feel you can get for places and people and what's happening, then later on down the road you'll have a better idea of how to put it all together into a more formal format.
And what should people be mindful of regarding the privacy of families in doing these kind of videos?
So I get this question a lot in terms of social platforms and posting photos on social platforms. So I recommend just taking a look at your photo video release policy that you probably had all your parents sign at the beginning of the year. Most schools now simply have an additional line in it that says something about the child's likeness being able to be used on all digital and social platforms and marketing campaigns, something to that extent. So you can take a look and see what wiggle room you have there, but most schools are adding an addendum like that to their photo video release to get around that.
Okay, and then one final question, if you would just be able to repeat the name of the last platform that you mentioned.
Was that a social platform?
I guess maybe if you just advance to your previous slide. I'm not sure which one.
Facebook Live, perhaps, or Wistia. That may have been it.
Yep, looks like that was it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions from our audience. Did you have any kind of final wrap-up words for us?
No, only that if you have any additional questions or something pops up and you need to do a follow-up with me, I'll send up that thing to Andrea so you can get the list of all the apps and things that I mentioned. But if anything else pops into your head and you want to shoot me a quick email, feel free to do so. My email address is jday@renweb.com, and I'd be happy to help you out with any questions you may have.
Great. Thanks, Jacqueline. And for those of you who are coming to our NCEA Convention and Expo in April in St. Louis, Jacqueline will be there and she'll be speaking a couple times. So definitely register if you haven't already and look for her there. Before we conclude, I want to remind you all in the audience that I am going to be sending you the recording of the webinar, a copy of the slides, the information Jacqueline puts together as far as the list, and a certificate of attendance. You should have all of that within 24 hours. A lot of people asked about that, so I will follow up with you tomorrow on that. Thanks for spending your time with us and for supporting the webinar program, and a special thank you to Jacqueline for all that you've shared with us. So have a wonderful evening. I look forward to seeing you all in St. Louis.